Students, good afternoon. This is your lecture number 3.2 of module number 3. Yeah. And in the today's class, I'm to solve one problem on this 4-bar mechanism, which is having the 4 kinematic links. Okay. And these are the given inputs. Okay. So quickly, I'll revise whatever we discussed in the previous class, and then I'll go with this problem. Yeah. Let's get started with today's class. And already we have discussed there are two units of module number 3. Okay, so module 3 has two units. One is regarding the analysis and one more is synthesis, and I have discussed what is exactly the difference between these two. Analysis means the system will be there or the mechanism will be there, and you know the inputs, and only you need to find out the outputs, and you have to relate to this input. What is the relation between an input and output for an already existing system, right? And in the synthesis part, you know input and you know what are the possible output also, the required outputs. And based on these inputs and outputs, you need to design this system. You need to design the link lengths, okay? Entire the whatever the parameters which are required for fabrication work, you need to design that. You have to decide those parameters, which is called as a synthesis. Yeah. So what is this is the only difference. And after that, and I have explained what is a vector. This is a vector AB. It means when you're considering any mechanism, we're going to represent different links or elements of the mechanism in the form of a vector, so that it will be easy to find out the angular velocity and acceleration, right? So just consider this vector AB, and it is having a magnitude of r, and it is making an angle theta with respect to the positive real axis in the counterclockwise direction, and with respect to the tail of this vector. So this is the tail of the vector, and this is the head of the vector. And after that, how to write the displacement or the position of this vector AB? It is given by the formula r into e raised to I theta. So there is a separate derivation is there. So derivation is not required from the exam point of view. So please remember this formula. The displacement of any vector AB having magnitude r and theta with respect to the positive real axis, so it can be represented as r into e raised to I theta. And when you differentiate this displacement, you will get velocity vector of AB. So when you differentiate this equation, you will get r into omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. So where is omega is angular velocity, d theta by dt. Yeah. For this also there is a separate derivation is there. You can go through later. And after that, when you differentiate this velocity vector, you will get the acceleration of vector AB. So you'll get the formula is r in bracket omega square e raised to I 180 plus theta plus alpha into e raised to I 90 plus theta. Yeah, where alpha is angular acceleration. Okay, which is nothing but a d omega by dt. So if you want, I can show the derivation. So this is the same vector AB. Yeah. So I can directly write the displacement of vector AB as the magnitude r multiplied by e raised to I theta. Theta is this angle. And when you differentiate this equation with respect to time, which is nothing but you will get velocity. When you differentiate the displacement, you will get velocity. Just differentiate this equation. So just keep r as it is. Just differentiate this e raised to I theta. I know what is exactly e raised to I theta. E raised to I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. Okay, and r is constant because it is a magnitude of the vector. And when you differentiate this cos theta, it will become minus sin theta. And you are differentiating with respect to t, so it will become d theta by dt. Use the chain rule, you'll get this answer. Similarly, I is a constant to keep as it is. The differentiation of sin theta is cos theta into d theta by dt. And I know d theta by dt is nothing but the angular velocity. The rate of change of displacement is nothing but omega. So you can see here, I have written here, omega is nothing but d theta by dt. Just replace this d theta by dt by omega. Similarly, just write this also omega. So this is the equation, and just take the common. The omega is common, so just take the common out, and inside you'll get minus sin theta plus I cos theta. And using allied angle formula, you can write this minus sin theta as cos 90 plus theta. So both are same. Okay, use the concept of allied angles. So I can write the minus sin theta as cos 90 plus theta. For my convenience, I'm taking like this. Similarly, so you can write this cos theta as a sine 90 plus theta. Okay, so just note down these two equations. So I can replace minus sine theta by cos 90 plus theta. So you can see here I return minus sine theta as cos 90 plus theta, and this cos theta is sine 90 plus theta, and use the same equation. So cos theta plus I sin theta is e raised to I theta. In a similar manner, cos 90 plus theta plus I sin 90 plus theta, it becomes e raised to I 90 plus theta. The remaining will be as it is, r omega. I can write this part of the equation as e raised to I theta. Theta is nothing but this entire part. It means e raised to I 90 plus theta. So after differentiating this equation, the displacement, you will get this form, this equation, that is a velocity of vector AB, which is nothing but r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. Same thing I explained here, r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. Again, when you differentiate this vector, velocity vector, you will get the acceleration. So the detailed derivation is also there. So I can call this velocity equation as equation 2. Yeah, just differentiate this equation 2, that is this part, r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. Use the chain rule, just keep the constant outside the cloud bracket. Just use the chain rule and you'll get this equation. Just simplify. Okay, keep omega as it is, just differentiate this one, plus just keep this part as it is and differentiate this omega. Okay, I hope already you know the differentiation. So after the simplification, finally I'll get this equation, equation number 3. So which is nothing but the acceleration of vector AB. That is r omega square e raised to I 180 plus theta plus alpha e raised to I 90 plus theta. The same thing I mentioned here. Yeah, so the same 3 equations. Please write down in a rough notebook, because I'm to use these 3 equations directly while solving the problems. Yeah, and after that, so after discussing these 3 equations, so I have taken some assignment for some exercise problems. Yeah, so there's a vector xy. I need to write down the displacement of this vector. That is, so it is nothing but xy e raised to I theta. It means r into e raised to I theta. R is the magnitude or the length of this vector. So the length is 100, angle is 120. So I'll get this answer. So e raised to I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. Just remember this also. And similarly, I solved so many problems. Okay, always you need to note down the angle made by this vector with respect to the positive real axis in a counterclockwise direction, and the reference should be the tail of the vector. Okay, we get this answer, same thing, and I solved this also. So with respect to positive real axis, it becomes 270, right? So the equation becomes 150 into e raised to I theta. E raised to I theta is nothing but cos theta plus I sin theta. You'll get this one. Similarly, you'll get this also. The angle made by this vector with respect to the positive real axis will be 225. The given thing is different. This vector is making the angle with respect to positive real axis in counterclockwise, but the reference is head. That's why I need to calculate the angle with respect to the tail and the positive real axis. I'll get this 225. So finally, I'll substitute in the place of theta as a 225, the place of the magnitude as 50, because the magnitude of the vector is given as 50. So I'll get this one, and this is also one more answer, one more problem. So this is 290 with respect to the positive real axis. The given thing is, you can see here, the given angle is this 70. So it is clockwise with respect to the positive real axis and with respect to the tail, but it is clockwise. But I want counterclockwise. So I'll get 360 minus 70. I'll get 290. So I'll use this value of theta in this equation. PQ is the length or the magnitude of this vector, that is 100. 100 e raised to I theta. Theta is 290. So e raised to I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. It means 100 cos 290 plus I sin 290. This is how you are going to represent the displacement of any vector. So after that, I have given 2 notes. Okay, whenever the angular velocity, that is omega, and the angular acceleration, that is alpha, if their values is positive, it means they will be rotating in a counterclockwise direction. Please write down. The value of angular velocity and acceleration is positive, it means the direction will be counterclockwise. Okay, it is same for all the problems. And vice versa, if the values of this angular velocity and the angular acceleration is negative, if it is negative, the values are negative, it means that the direction will be in a clockwise direction. Yeah. So please note down, if the values are negative, the direction will be clockwise. If the values are positive, the direction will be counterclockwise. Only this sign convention is only for the angular velocity and acceleration. Okay. And one more thing I have discussed is this one. So e raised to I theta I can write as cos theta plus I sin theta. And where the cos theta, this part is known as the real part, and whatever the portion of this part along with this I, okay, I'll not consider this I, I'll consider only this part. Yeah, so this will be considered as a imaginary part. Okay, except whatever that is present except this I, so this will be considered as imaginary part. So this is also very important. So let me give some exercise on this conversion, finding the real part and imaginary part. Yeah. So please take this r2 e raised to I theta. Okay. Please simplify this and let me know what is the real part and the imaginary part of this equation. Anyone? Just simplify this. Already you know e raised to I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. Just write down and let me know which is the real part and which is the imaginary part. Just please take 30-second time and let me know. Yeah, what is the real part? Just substitute.
Theta 2.
What about this R2? There's a multiplication. No, you have to consider this also. So first, what I'll do, I'll keep R2 as it is. I know e raised to I theta 2 as a cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2, right? Then I'll take the R2 inside. It becomes R2 cos theta 2 plus R2 sin theta 2 multiplied by I. Correct? I've taken R2 inside. Now, as I said, so whatever the portion which is independent of I, there is no I is there, there's no imaginary part. Okay, the portion which is independent of I, it will be considered as a real part. Okay, and again, the portion which is along with this I, okay, this one will be considered as imaginary part. So directly, when you see this equation, you should be able to write the real part and the imaginary part. Without solving this, okay, quickly you have to write this. Okay, okay, quickly simplify this. E raised to I theta is cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2. Just multiply. We'll get the real part of this equation as a R2 cos theta 2, and whatever the portion which is there along with this I. Okay, just neglect this I. Whatever the portion is there is considered this as the remaining portion can be considered as an imaginary part. Yeah, I'll go with the one more equation. Similar thing. So there's one more parameter I've added, that is omega 2. It is a single equation. Just to simplify this and let me know which is the real part and the imaginary part. Yeah. So please simplify. Otherwise, you'll not get the today's problem, which is based on these simplifications only. Just keep R2 omega 2 as it is, and you know e raised to I 90 plus theta. It can be written as cos 90 plus theta 2 plus I sin 90 plus theta 2, right? So I'll keep R2 omega 2 outside. So I'll replace this e raised to I 90 plus theta. I know e raised to I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta, but here theta is nothing but 90 plus theta 2. So I can write cos 90 plus theta 2, this portion, plus I sin 90 plus theta 2. Same thing. Yeah, just open this flower bracket and just multiply this R2 omega to this portion and this portion. What you'll get? This one. R2 omega 2 cos 90 plus theta here. Similarly, I'll keep I as it is. I'll multiply this R2 omega 2 to this part. That is R2 omega 2 sine 90 plus theta. So which is the real part? Just read anyone. The portion which is
R2
independent.
omega 2 cos.
Yeah, right. Just continue.
R2 omega 2 cos 90 plus theta 2.
Right. Okay. This is the real part, which is independent of I, which it will be considered as a real part. And which is the imaginary part? Imaginary part.
R2 omega 2 sine 90 plus theta 2.
Right, correct. So what is your name?
Somalingaya.
Yeah, Somalingaya. Thank you. Thank you, Somalingaya. Your answer is correct. So the value which is free from I, it will be considered as a real part, and the value which is along with this I, it will be considered as a imaginary part. So if it is clear, so you can easily solve the problem. Yeah, and I'll go with this today's problem. Yeah. So basically, you'll get two types of mechanism for your syllabus. One will be a 4-bar mechanism, and one more will be single slider crank mechanism. I'll solve only this 4-bar mechanism, and the remaining I'll give as assignment. I'll provide the notes also, because when you practice on your own, then only you'll get the answer. You'll get the clear idea. Otherwise, you'll not get anything. So in today's class, I'll solve one problem on this 4-bar mechanism, and remaining problems I'll give as assignment. With written notes also I'll give. Okay, if any doubts, I'll clarify in the further classes. So this figure is given. This is a 4-bar mechanism. So in a 4-bar mechanism, as shown in the below figure, just copy this figure. Yeah. Link AB rotates uniformly at 2 radian per second in a clockwise direction. Before that, so there are 4 links, correct? So this is I'll start from here. This is the first kinematic link. You can give any number: first, second, third, and fourth. And it is given the first link, that is link AD, is fixed. Okay, this symbol indicates that it is fixed. It is not going to move. And you are giving the input to this kinematic link, that is link AB, the second link. Okay, you are rotating this. You are giving the input, and you'll get the output here. It is similar to wiper. When you give the rotation to this link AB, it will start oscillating towards left and right direction in a clockwise direction. In a similar manner, the link CD also starts oscillating like this. Yeah. And meanwhile, the link BC also will move towards right and left, which is nothing but the combination of linear and rotary motion. Don't worry about that one. And after that, the length of this AD is given as the 10 centimeters. The first link. This is the first link as 10 centimeter. The length is given, and the length of AB is also given. That is a 7.5. And after that, the length of BC is not given. Just make it as a question mark. And the length of CD is given. So you can see the length of this CD is given. That is 15 centimeter. You know the length of first link, second, and fourth. The third link length is unknown. And one more parameter is given as the angle. The angle made by this link number 4, that is CD, is 75 with respect to the positive real axis. Yeah. And it is given the input is 2 radian per second, is uniformly. So this word is also important. 2 radian per second. It means it is rotating at a speed of 2 radians per second. Per second it will rotate 2 radian. For the first second it is going to rotate 2 radians. For the next second again 2 radians. Because it is given as uniformly. So as you know this, there is a unit of angular velocity omega. It is uniform. It means it is constant. For the first second it is 2 radian. For the next second also it is 2 radian. Again for the next second it is 2 radian, because it is given 2 radian per second uniformly. Okay, there is no change in this angular velocity. Yeah, if it is not mentioned that is uniformly, it may change. So in a 4-bar mechanism, as shown in the below figure, the link AB rotates. So this link AB rotates in a clockwise direction with a speed of, with an angular velocity, that is omega, as the 2 radian per second in a clockwise direction. And using the complex algebra, write the loop closure equation for this. Already in the previous class, I have explained how to write a loop closure equation for any mechanism, for any closed profile. Okay. The next slide I'll explain how to write the loop closure equation. And after that, determine the magnitude and directions of angular velocity and angular acceleration of link BC and CD. So this is a link BC and this is a link CD. You need to find the angular velocity and acceleration of link BC as well as the angular velocity and angular acceleration of link CD. It means the first, second, this is the third link. It means you need to find omega 3, alpha 3 and omega 4, alpha 4. Also state whether the magnitude of angular velocity of these links tend to increase or decrease. As they starts moving from left to right, I want to know whether the magnitude is increasing or decreasing. The magnitude of angular velocity. Only I want to know whether the angular velocity of this link and this link, whether it is increasing and decreasing. So this is the given thing. Okay, please let me know if any confusion in this problem. Before that, in the previous class, I explained how to write the loop closure equation for this closed profile. If there is a group of so many vectors which are moving in the same direction, you can say, so it is also moving forward, 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 forward. So you can write the loop closure equation as, so what is the displacement of this vector, that is AB, the displacement of vector, the displacement of vector AB, BC, CD. If they are moving in the same direction, I can consider as a positive. If they are moving in opposite to the first vector, they will be negative. Okay, summation of the displacement of all the vectors is nothing but the loop closure equation. In a similar manner, I have taken this 4-bar mechanism. You can see I can take this as a reference. It is moving in a forward direction like this. Just consider single flow. So I'll consider this as a positive, and the vectors which are opposite to this vector are considered as a negative. So this is moving in a forward. There is a PQ. I'll consider as a positive. QR is also moving forward along the same direction as the PQ. It is also positive, plus QR plus RS plus SP. Okay, all are moving in the same order. So there is no negative sign. When you consider this one, so PQ is moving in a forward direction. It is a positive. QR is also in forward, positive. RS is also positive. But when you consider this PS, it is opposite to the remaining vectors. It means it will be considered as negative. In the similar manner, I consider the case 3 also. So PQ is moving in a forward direction, positive. QR positive. And you can see the SR vector is opposite to or against to the direction of the PQ, the remaining vectors. This will be considered as negative. And PS is also opposite to the first vector, so it is also negative. Yeah, and I consider this also. So this is the first problem, how to write the loop closure equation for this. I explained in the previous class. So first, same thing, I'll write the AB as a positive, which is moving in the forward direction, AB. So this CB is opposite to the first vector, it will be negative. CD is along the same direction of AB, it is a positive. DE is also along the direction, positive. FE is against the direction, negative. FG is along the direction, positive. HG is opposite to the direction, negative. HA is along the direction of this vector AB, so it is positive. And I know how to write the displacement of vector, that is r into e raised to I theta. So the length of this vector AB is r1 and the angle theta 1 with respect to the positive real axis and the tail. So r1 e raised to I theta 1, r2 e raised to I theta 2. So CD, the length is r3, yeah, and the angle is theta 3 with respect to the positive real axis and from the tail. Similarly, just write down the displacement of each vectors. That is nothing but r into e raised to I theta. So this is nothing but the loop closure equation, so which was explained in the previous class. And in a similar manner, so first I'll write down the loop closure equation. So first, I think you need to find out the loop closure equation. It is mentioned in the problem. Yeah, write the loop closure equation for this. So first I'll draw the same figure once again. Okay, so after this, I'll give the direction for these four kinematic links. I'll convert all these four kinematic links into vectors. As I said, to solve the problems, I need to indicate all the kinematic links into vectors. I'll give the direction to all these vectors. You can give any direction. So for my convenience, I'll give the direction of vector AB in the forward, BC is also forward, CD is also forward. For the last vector, I'll take the opposite direction. So you can take any directions. That is, you'll get the final answer as the same thing. Okay, so you can see the red color arrow mark, so which is nothing but the vector. Okay, so this was the previous one. So I have assigned the direction of vector to all these four kinematic links. This is the first, second, third, and fourth. So you can see the directions. Yeah. So AB is moving in a forward direction. So BC is also moving in a forward direction. CD is also moving in a forward direction. But when you consider this first link, it is moving opposite to the remaining vectors. Okay. If you want, you can take along the direction also towards left. It is left to you. Okay, as for your convenience, take the directions and you'll get the final answer as the same thing. And to write the loop closure equation, I need to find out the magnitude of each vector, and I want the angles. As I said, the angle will be with respect to the positive real axis in a counterclockwise and with respect to the tail of the vector. Correct? So first what I will do, first I'll list down whatever the magnitude of all these four vectors. This is the first vector, that is R1. The problem it is given, the length of link AD or the R1 is given as 10 centimeter. First I'll write on this. And length of the second vector, that is AB, is also given. The problem is a 7.5 centimeter. And length of the third vector, that is R3, that is BC, it is not given. It is not mentioned in the problem, so I'll make it as a unknown thing, that is question mark. And the link length of the fourth one, that is a CD, that is a R4, which is 15 centimeter. It is also given in the problem. And after that, I'll note down the angles. First, I'll start with the first link. Since this vector is along the positive real axis, the angle is 0. Because my positive real axis is here itself, and the vector is also here. The angle made by this vector with respect to the positive real axis is 0, right? So theta 1 is 0. And when you consider this second vector, the angle made by this vector with respect to the tail of the vector and with respect to the positive real axis, it is theta 2 in a counterclockwise. So theta 2 is 90. So it is given in the problem. So you can see this is a 90 degree. This is perpendicular to the first link. So theta 2 is 90. And I'll go with this third link, that is BC. BC, only the magnitude is also not given. That is R3 is also not given. The angle is not given. I want to find out the angle of this vector with respect to the tail of the vector and with respect to the positive real axis in the counterclockwise. If you want, you can try, you'll not get any answer. By using a graphical method, so you can get the answer, but since this is an analytical method, I cannot find the angle made by this vector in a counterclockwise direction with respect to the positive real axis. So I'll make it as an unknown thing. So if you want, you can try this, you'll not get anything. And I'll consider the fourth vector, that is vector number 4, that is a CD. Yeah, it's moving in a downward direction. So I'll consider this the tail of the vector, that is point C. This is a positive real axis, and the angle will be this much. I want this much angle. This is theta 4, and it is not given in the problem. Only this is given. Correct? Only this is given. This is not given. You need to find out this. So this is the vector, and this is the axis. This is the horizontal axis, and this is 75. And just extend this, and this will be your angle, alternative angle, that is a 75. Okay. This is the common vector. It is making an angle 75 with respect to the horizontal axis. I'll draw one more horizontal here, exactly here. So this angle will be 75 because both are alternative angles, and the remaining is 180 up to here. From this point to this, 180 plus 75, so it becomes 255. Okay, you need to calculate this. So 180 plus 75 is 255. So this is theta 4. So only the unknown things are with respect to the third kinematic link, that is R3. The length is also unknown, the angle is also unknown. So this is the first step. Before you write the loop closure equation, you have to note down the magnitude as well as the angles. After that, the next step is same, correct? I've taken the same figure. Yeah. So the loop closure equation is nothing but the summation of all these vectors. I'll start from this vector itself, which is moving in the forward direction. So AB is a positive. BC is also in the forward. It is also positive. CD is also in the forward direction. It is also positive. But when you consider the last vector, AD is opposite to the flow, as opposite to the direction of the remaining vectors. It is moving against the vectors. So it will be considered as minus AD is equal to 0. The summation is 0. As per the statement of the loop closure equation, the summation of displacement of all the vectors is 0. And after that, I'll shift this AD towards my right for my convenience. Since it is negative, I'll shift towards my right. It will become positive. And as I said, the displacement of each vector can be written as r into e raised to I theta. I have given the formula, I think so. There are three formulas. One is for displacement, one is for velocity, one more is for acceleration. Yeah, here. The displacement of vector can be written as r into e raised to I theta. So I can write AB as what is the magnitude of this AB? This is the link 2, R2. R2 into multiplied by e raised to I theta 2. In similar manner, the displacement of this vector BC is the vector BC, which is nothing but third kinematic link. So I'll write as R3 into e raised to I theta 3. Okay, R2, R3, R4 are the link lengths, the magnitude of all the four kinematic links. Since it is a third kinematic link, I'll write R3. In similar manner for CD, for this CD, what is the link length? That is R4, R4 into e raised to I theta 4. For AD also, this is the first link, so I'll write R1 e raised to I0, I theta 1. Theta 1 is 0 because it is a horizontal towards along with the positive real axis. E raised to I theta 1. Theta 1 is 0. Directly I'll substitute. After that is substitute the values of all the parameters. This is the displacement vector. If you want, you can substitute later also. First, I'll get the displacement vector and I'll differentiate this one. I'll get the velocity vector. Okay. So this is how you got the loop closure equation. So this is nothing but the displacement vector. I'll denote with the equation 1. Okay. This procedure is common for all the problems. First, you have to assign the directions. You need to find out the magnitude or the angles. Just write down the loop closure equation and you'll get this one. And when you differentiate this equation, you'll get a velocity vector. As I said here, when you differentiate this one, r into e raised to I theta, directly you can write this one. Keep r as it is, just write omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. So there is a derivation I have explained here. Yeah, so this was a displacement r into e raised to I theta. After differentiating, you got this one, r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. So every time there's no need to differentiate all these things. Directly you can write this one. Okay, so please remember this. The velocity of the vector is r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. Same thing I have written. Only remember these three equations. When you differentiate, you'll get this one. Directly I'll write here. So when you differentiate this one, so I'm differentiating entire this equation 1. So when you differentiate this displacement, you'll get r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. Since it is respect to second link, I'll write 2, 2, 2. Similarly, when you differentiate this one, you'll get the velocity of this vector, that is r3 omega 3 e raised to I 90 plus theta 3. So from the formula only I'm writing directly. Okay, no need to differentiate once again. Again, it will take one page or two pages. So directly you can write, when you differentiate this one, you'll get this formula. Just take that formula, r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta. If it is link number 3, just write 3 here. Okay. If it is 4, just write 4. The remaining is same. R2 omega 2 e raised to I 90 plus theta, R3 omega 3 e raised to I 90 plus theta 3, R4 omega 4 e raised to I 90 plus theta 4 is equal to, again when you differentiate this one, you'll get R1 omega 1 e raised to I 90 plus theta 1. Yeah, since omega is 0, it means you can see the first link. So this is nothing but the displacement of the first vector. Since it is fixed, it means it is not moving. Its angular velocity will be 0 because it is fixed. It cannot move. It means the angular velocity of the first link, that is omega 1, is 0. You substitute omega 1 is as a 0 after differentiating this one. When you differentiate this one, you'll get R1 omega 1 e raised to I 90 plus 0. So the value of omega 1 is 0, so the entire value will become 0. Okay. So this equation I'll denote with the second one, which is nothing but the velocity vector. Okay. Similar to the differentiation, we are following the same steps. First you got the displacement vector, that is equation 1. When you differentiate this equation 1, we'll get this one, that is a velocity vector. Directly using the formula r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta, I written here. So I have changed the suffixes. If it is with respect to second vector, I'll write 2 and 2. If it is with respect to third vector, I'll write 3. So in the same manner for 4, for the first vector. For the first vector, the link is fixed. It means the angular velocity omega 1 is 0. So it becomes r1 omega 1 e raised to I 90 plus 0. Omega 1 is 0. So the entire value becomes 0. And in the next step, I'll differentiate this one. I'll differentiate the second vector. When you differentiate the velocity, you'll get the acceleration. So directly use this formula. Okay. When you have this velocity, that is r omega e raised to I 90 plus theta, when you differentiate this one, you'll get this one directly. Acceleration. Just remember this. Please practice this and remember this. Directly write r as it is, flower bracket omega square e raised to I 180 plus theta plus alpha e raised to I 90 plus theta. This equation is from this derivation. When you differentiate the velocity, you'll get the final answer. So directly I'm writing this one. It is nothing but this one. No need to differentiate once again and no need to derive this. Again, it will take so much time. Yeah. Directly remember this equation. You'll get the acceleration of each vector. Please remember this. Yeah. After this, when you differentiate the equation 2, you'll get the acceleration. Okay, this is the first displacement. After differentiating, you got velocity. Again, one more differentiation, you'll get acceleration. So differentiating the above equation, that is a velocity vector. So directly using that formula, I have written here r2 omega 2 square e raised to I 180 plus theta 2 plus alpha 2 e raised to I 90 plus theta 2. This is for the second vector. So just write the same equation, just change the numbering because this is for the third vector. So 3, wherever there's a r and where there's omega and theta, just change the suffix. Similarly, when you differentiate the velocity vector of link number 4, you'll get this one, r4, omega 4, 4 and 4. Already the equation 2 here, this part is 0. When you differentiate, again you'll get 0. When you differentiate this one, you'll get one answer, second answer, third answer. So I have written the same thing, first, second, third. So using that formula, that is this third formula. So directly I have written. Okay, please make a note. After getting all these three vectors, one for displacement, one for velocity, one for acceleration, I'll go with the next step. So if any doubt, please let me know. I'll take another half an hour because this problem is very important. It carries 20 marks. So this is the procedure oriented. The method is same, but the procedure is lengthy. Okay, the method is simple, but the procedure is lengthy. If you're able to remember this formula directly, you can solve this problem. So this is the first part of this problem, getting these three equations, getting this first equation, getting the second equation, and getting the third equation. This comes under the first part of this problem. Okay, if there is no doubt, I'll go with the second part. Yeah. So I'll divide this entire problem into two parts. First part is only getting the displacement vector, velocity vector, and acceleration vector. The second part is a simplification. So we got three equations, right? 1, 2, 3. We need to simplify the first equation. You'll get one answer. Just simplify the second equation. You'll get one answer. Simplify the third equation. You'll get the one answer. Okay. The second part, just write down part 2. So from the equation 1. So what is the equation 1? You got this one, right? The previous slide, I got this one. There is a displacement vector, the first equation. So in this one, in this here, to compare only real part of LHS and RHS of equation 1. So this is equation 1, right? So this part is LHS and this part is RHS. And I know how to write the real part and the imaginary part of each one, each equation. So I can write I can simplify this as R2 into bracket cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2. Again, I can simplify this as R3 in bracket cos theta 3 plus I sin theta 3. Again, I can simplify this as R4 in bracket cos theta 4 plus I sin theta 4. Similarly, R1 in bracket cos theta 1 is 0, cos 0 plus I sin 0. Okay. After simplifying, just I think I have done some exercise, right? Directly by seeing this one, you should be able to write what is the real part of this one, what is the imaginary part of this one. Okay. First, I'll consider comparing the real part, only real part of LHS and RHS. So what is the real part of this one? R2 cos theta 2, right? So directly I can write. So I have done exercise, right? Directly you should be able to write this if you want. Just wait for a second. Yeah. So this was the equation R2 e raised to I theta 2. I'll simplify this. E raised to I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. Just take the R2 inside. We'll get this one and this one. The portion of the equation which is free from the I, free from the alphabet I, it is considered as a real part, and with the equation which is along with this I, it is considered as imaginary part. So when you see this equation directly, you should simplify in your mind and you should be able to write what is the real part and the imaginary part. It is very, very simple. In the similar manner, for the first attempt you may feel difficulty, but this is a very, very, very easy problem. Yeah, the final examination will get the same thing, but you need to practice twice or thrice, you'll get the flow. So this is a part 2. I'll consider the first equation. Comparing only real part of LHS and RHS of the first equation. This was the first equation. The real part of this one is R2 cos theta 2. The real part of this one is R3 cos theta 3. The real part of this one is R4 cos theta 4. And the real part of this one is R1 cos theta 1. Theta 1 is 0. Correct? And from the given things, whatever you have noted down, just substitute the value of R2, that is 7.5 centimeter, the value of theta 2, that is 90, the value of R3 is unknown. As I said, the R3 is unknown, theta 3 is unknown, just keep as it is. And you know the link length of a fourth link, that is 15 centimeter, and theta 4, just write down. So whatever you got the values from the given things and all these things, and R1 is 10 centimeter, already the cos 0 is 1. Use the calculator and just write down cos 90 is 0, so the entire equation becomes 0. This will become 0, and keep R3 and cos theta 3 as it is, because I don't know the value of R3 and cos theta 3, this theta 3, and use the calculator and just get the answer. You'll get this one, minus 3.882. So 10 into 1, cos 0 is 1. So after that, just simplify this, you'll get this answer. Just take this part towards right and substitute here 10 plus 3.8822 because it will become positive and it moves towards right. You'll get 13.8822 and R3 cos theta 3 as it is. So I can denote this as the first equation real part because I'm comparing only the real part of equation 1. So this was equation 1, right? The first part I got 3 equation and I consider the first equation which was first one. Okay, and in this first equation I compared only the real part of LHS and the real part of RHS. Real part of this equation is R2 cos theta 2, R3 cos theta 3, R4 cos theta 4, and real part of the RHS is this one. Since I compared only the real part and I got this one, so I can indicate it as IR or the first equation with the suffix as R because I compared only the real part. In the next part, the next slide, only compare the imaginary part of this one, this one, this one with respect to the RHS. Okay, when you simplify, you will get both real part as well as imaginary part, right? And when you simplify this also, you will get a real part as well as imaginary part. The similar manner, whatever you have followed here, just replace the real part and just write imaginary part. It becomes R2 sin theta 2, R3 sin theta 4, R4 sin theta 4, R1 sin 0. Because the imaginary part is with respect to the portion which is along with this I. So here you got R2 cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2, right? The imaginary part is R2 sin theta 2. Here the imaginary part is R3 sin theta 3. Here R4 sin theta 4. Here R1 sin 0. Just compare those equations. Yeah. So comparing the imaginary part of LHS and RHS of equation 1. Just remember you are solving only the equation 1, not the equation 2 and 3. Okay, just forget about equation 2 and 3. Just consider only the first equation, that is equation 1. Just compare the real part. You got this one, that is IR. And next, in the next slide, just compare only the imaginary part of this first equation. You will get this one, II. The small I indicates, the suffix indicates the imaginary part. Comparing only the imaginary part of LHS and RHS of first equation, we got the same thing. Just replace cos theta 2 by sin theta 2, we'll get the same answer. The imaginary part of LHS of the first equation is R2 sin theta 2, R3 sin theta 3 plus R4 sin theta 4, and similarly the imaginary part of RHS is R1 sin 0. If you are able to get this one, so the remaining is same. Just substitute the values. You can see it is the same as this one, IR. When you compare the real part, you got this one. The similar manner, when you compare the imaginary part, you get the same answer. Instead of cos, you will get sin. That is the only difference. R2 remains same, R3 remains same. Only the cos becomes sin. So you can see it. The cos has replaced with sin. The remaining is as it is. R2 is same, theta 2 is same, R3 is same, theta 3 is same. So after simplifying this one, we'll get one more answer. That is R3 sin theta 3 as a 6.9888. Since we got this one by comparing the imaginary part of the first equation, so I can write II as the first equation with the suffix as I. Small I indicates the imaginary part. When you compare the imaginary part of LHS and RHS of first equation, so whatever you got the equation, I can denote it as II. Okay, our first equation with I as a suffix. Okay, and you got first equation with the imaginary part and the first equation with a real part. Just solve this one and this one. So just by squaring and adding these two equations, II and IR, so you will get this one. Okay, just square this one and the previous one. R3 square cos square theta 3 plus R3 square sin square theta 3. Okay, squaring and adding the LHS and RHS of II and IR. So this was IR, okay, and this was II. And squaring and adding after that, you'll get this one. To simplify this, you'll get the answer as R3 is equal to 15.54 centimeters. 15.54 centimeters. Okay, and just take the ratio of this II and IR. Okay, just take the ratio. we'll get r3 sin theta 3 by r3 cos theta 3 is equal to 6.9888 divided by 13.8822. Instead of squaring and adding, just take the ratio. We'll get tan theta 3 as this one. So theta 3 becomes tan inverse of this one. Use the calculator. You'll be able to find. You'll be able to get this theta 3. That is 26.72. Only the simplifications. So again, I'll list. Already I was knowing the value of r1 theta 1, r2 theta 2, r4 theta 4. Now I got the value of theta 3 and r3. So you can see here, after simplifying, I got r3 as well as theta 3. So this is the first. This is the second part. The second part of this problem. Second problem. So if any doubts, please let me know, because the next procedure is same. This is only with respect to the first equation. You need to follow the same procedure with respect to the second equation. You'll get some answer, and you have to follow the same procedure with respect to the third equation. You'll get the answer. Okay. If you want, I'll revise once again, because you're solving this problem for the first time, so you may get difficulties. I'll provide the notes and just practice once. Okay. So first I got the loop closure equation, that is the displacement. I given as equation 1. I'll differentiate this equation 1. You'll get second vector, that's the velocity vector. Again, you just differentiate this second vector, second equation. You'll get acceleration, that is the third equation. You got 3 equations, right? First, I'll consider the first equation, that is the first equation, this one, that is the displacement vector. I'll compare the real part of LHS as well as RHS. So comparing the only real part, I got this one. So I'll give it as the first equation with the real part. And in a similar manner, I'll compare the imaginary part of LHS and RHS. I'll get II, this one, II, by comparing the imaginary part of LHS and RHS of equation 1. And after getting these two equations, II and IR, just square and just take the summation of LHS and RHS. Squaring and adding the equation IR and II, you will get the value of R3, and just take the ratio of the same equations, that is IR and II, you will get theta 3. So you got R3 as well as theta 3. You got all the 4 values. So this is with respect to only the first equation. After this, I'll go with the second equation, that is the velocity vector. So this was the velocity vector, right? In the first part, you got 3 equations, and this was the second equation, that is velocity vector. Again, follow the same method, whatever you followed for the first equation. From this equation 2, I'll compare the real part of LHS as well as the real part of his RHS. So I'll get one answer, one equation. So you can see here from this equation 2, comparing only real part of LHS and RHS of equation 2. So what is the real part of this equation? That is R2 omega 2 cos 90 plus theta 2. So as I solved in the exercise problems, so directly by seeing this equation, you should be able to write the real part of this one. That is R2 omega 2 cos 90 plus theta 2. So here same thing. Similarly, R3 omega 3 cos 90 plus theta 3. R4 omega 4 cos 90 plus theta 4. This is the real part of LHS. And the RHS is 0. It means again the real part will be 0. When you get this equation, just substitute the value of R2 omega 2, R3 omega 3, R4 omega 4. And follow the sign conventions. Follow the sign conventions. If the direction of this omega 2, if it is in a clockwise, you just take it as a negative. So in the first problem, you can see here the given thing. Yeah, this is the first link, second, third, and fourth. Correct? So this is omega 2. So omega 1 is 0 because it is a fixed one. Omega 2 is clockwise. As I said, if the angular velocity is clockwise, take it as a negative. Okay. If the acceleration is also clockwise, take it as a negative. Okay. Since the angular velocity of second link is in a clockwise direction, so omega 2 becomes negative. Same thing I have substituted here. There is omega 2 is negative, -2. -2 radian per second. So 2 is given. Clockwise, I'll take it as a negative. So if you know omega 3, just write, otherwise keep as it is. You don't know omega 4 also, just keep as it is, because only omega 2 is given. The angular velocity of second link is given. The remaining is unknown. You need to find out that. Yeah. So we are comparing the real part of equation number 2. That is R2 omega 2 cos 90 plus theta 2 cos 90 plus theta 3 cos 90 plus theta 4, and this for RHS. Substitute the values of R2 omega 2, and if you know R3, just substitute. You don't know value of omega 3, you need to find out that. Keep as it is. You know R4 length 15, omega 4 is unknown, just keep as it is. You know theta 4. Okay, substitute the values. After simplifying this equation, you'll get one more equation. Okay, with unknown as omega 3 and omega 4, you'll get one more equation. Since you got this equation by comparing the real part of second one, so I can indicate with second equation real part for my convenience. By comparing the real part of this second equation, I got this one. So I'll denote with second equation with real part. The similar manner, just again consider the second equation. Instead of comparing a real part, just compare the imaginary part. So instead of cos, it becomes sine. Instead of cos, it becomes sine. So the next equation, the next slide, I am to compare the imaginary part of LHS as well as RHS. So here the imaginary part of this equation is R2 omega 2 sine 90 plus theta 2. Instead of cos, it becomes sine. R3 omega 3 sine 90 plus theta 3. R4 omega 4 sine 90 plus theta 4. The same thing I'll get here. So whatever you have followed the procedure for the first equation, follow the same thing for second equation. So comparing only the imaginary part of LHS and RHS of the equation 2, same thing whatever I explained. R2 omega 2 becomes sine instead of cos. Sine. Again substitute the values of R2 omega 2. So omega 2 is clockwise and its magnitude is 2 radian per second. Since it is clockwise, it is negative. So entire thing will be same as the previous slide, except cos becomes sine. Cos becomes sine. Just compare that. So after solving this one, you'll get this equation. Since you got this equation by comparing the imaginary part of the second one, so I can denote with second equation imaginary part. Okay. The previous slide, we got this equation by comparing the real part of second equation. So this is equation 2 with real part, and this equation is with respect to the second equation imaginary part. So after getting this second equation imaginary part, second equation real part, use the calculator and solve the equations. You know how to solve the equations. Okay. So I got these two equations, right? I got these two equations from the previous slide. That is second equation real part, second equation imaginary part. Use the calculator. When you have two equations and there are two unknowns, you can solve these two equations by using the calculator. Okay. After simplifying these two equations, you will get omega 3 as a minus 0.3346 radian per second. So since it is negative, it means it will be rotating clockwise. Also omega 4 you got as minus 1.1966 radian per second. It is also negative. It means it is in a clockwise direction. Correct. As per sign convention, my negative indicates clockwise. Please solve this two equations with the help of calculator. In the calculator, you'll get is go to the equation mode and you substitute the values, you'll get the answer. Because you have two equations and you know two unknowns. Okay, there are two unknowns and two equations, so I can solve easily with the help of calculator. Okay. So I got these two, and as I said, so this is with respect to the link 3. The suffix 3 indicates the angular velocity of this kinematic link 3. Since it is a negative sign, it is having a negative sign, the angular velocity it will be rotating in clockwise direction. In similar manner, the omega 4, the link 4, it is also having the negative sign. It means it will be rotating in a clockwise direction as per the sign conventions. Clockwise is negative, counterclockwise is positive. Again, now we got omega 3 and omega 4. Okay, we completed the whatever the procedure for equation 1 and whatever the procedure for equation 2, and follow the same procedure for equation 3. Before that, I'll note down whatever I got the answers. I'll note down. From the first equation, I got R3 theta 3. Okay. From the second equation, I got omega 3 and omega 4. Correct? Omega 3 and omega 4. And still I need to find out the acceleration. First I got the magnitude and the displacement, and after solving the second equation I got the angular velocity, that is omega 3 and omega 4, which was asked in the problem. And still I need to find out the angular acceleration, alpha 3 and alpha 4. Since the first link is fixed, it means the velocity is also 0, hence the acceleration is also 0. And you can see here the angular velocity of second link, that is minus 2 radian per second. In the problem it is given as uniformly. You can see here. So this is the omega 2, that is a 2 radian per second uniformly. It means it is not varying at all. For the first second it is 2 radian per second. For the next second also it is 2 radian. It is not varying. It is uniformly. Okay, it is uniform. Always the velocity is 2 radian per second. If there is no change in the angular velocity, the acceleration becomes 0, because the acceleration is rate of change of angular velocity. If there is no change at all, the acceleration is 0. That's why I am to consider alpha 2 as 0, because the crank is rotating uniformly. The angular velocity is constant, that is uniform. If there is no change in the velocity, the acceleration becomes 0, because the acceleration is nothing but the rate of change of angular velocity. Since the angular velocity is constant or uniform, the acceleration becomes 0. Okay. This one I got from the first equation. This one I got from the second equation. And using the third equation, I need to find out alpha 3 and alpha 4. Since the first link is fixed, I got the acceleration of the first link as 0. Since the second link is moving uniformly, it means the angular velocity is uniformly, it means again the acceleration is 0, because the rate of change of velocity is same. Okay, so there is no change in the acceleration at all, because the velocity is uniform. Okay, if there is no change, the acceleration is 0. And now I need to find out this alpha 3 and alpha 4. This one I can get by using the equation 3. Again follow the same method whatever you followed to find out R3 and theta 3 by using equation 1, by comparing the real part and imaginary part and solving. And in the similar manner you got omega 3 and omega 4 by comparing the real part and the imaginary part of equation 2. You got this one. The similar manner is consider equation 3, is compare real part and the imaginary part. You will get two equations. Just solve those two equations. You will get alpha 3 and alpha 4. Yeah. So now I consider this equation 3. The first part I got 3 equations right. I solved first, I solved second, the remaining is this third. So this is the third equation, that is acceleration vector. So from this equation again follow the same method. The method is same. Just compare the real part of LHS as well as RHS. Okay. So this R2 as it is omega 2 square is e raised to I 180 plus theta. What is the real part of this? Cos 180 plus theta 2. It means R2 omega 2 square cos 180 plus theta 2. R2 omega 2 square cos 180 plus theta 2. I want only the real part, not the imaginary. It means the real part of this is R2 omega 2 square, and this is nothing but cos 180 plus theta 2 plus I sin 180 plus theta 2. When you take R2 and omega 2 square inside, it becomes R2 omega 2 square cos 180 plus theta 2. That is the real part of this. Okay, real part of this. So R2 omega 2 square cos 180 plus theta 2. Similarly, just simplify this one. That is alpha 2 cos 90 plus theta 2 and take R2 inside. Okay. So if you want R2, just keep R2 outside only. Okay. Just write the real part of this one, that is omega 2 square cos 180 plus theta 2, alpha 2 cos 90 plus theta 2. Just keep R2 as it is for your convenience. In similar manner, just write down the real part of this equation as I solved in the exercise problems. How to write the real part of any equations. Just go through the notes later. I'll share the video also. You'll get the answer. Yeah. So just keep R3 as it is. What is the real part of this equation? That is omega 3 square as it is. This will be cos 180 theta, cos 180 plus theta 3 plus I sin 180 plus theta 3. But I want the real part. It becomes cos 180 plus theta 3. Omega 3 square is as it is. It is a constant. Similarly, the real part of this one is cos 90 plus theta 3. Cos 90 plus theta 3 alpha 3 as it is. Similarly, I want the real part of this equation. That is plus R4 omega 4 square as it is. The real part of this is cos 180 plus theta 4. It can just make a correction. It has to become 4 theta 4. Again, this keep alpha 4 as it is. The real part of this one is cos 90 plus theta 4. Okay. Just substitute the values of R2 omega 2, R3 omega 3, R4 omega 4. Already you know all these things except alpha 3 and alpha 4. You know alpha 2 also. It is a 0. Just substitute all those values, you'll get this equation. You simplify, you get this equation. Since I got this equation by comparing the real part of equation 3, so I can denote as equation 3 with real part. In a similar manner, again consider the same equation, equation number 3. Instead of comparing the real part of LHS and RHS, just compare the imaginary part. It means it becomes, instead of cos, you need to substitute sine. Just write the same equation, just replace the cos with sine, you'll get the answer as comparing the imaginary part of equation 3. Okay. So in the next slide, I'll compare the imaginary part of this equation. If you want, you can directly copy this as it is, replace cos by sine, you'll get the answer. Okay. From the equation 3, by comparing only the imaginary part of LHS and RHS of equation 3. Instead of cos, it becomes sine. R2 omega 2 square sine 180 plus theta 2 plus alpha 2 sine 90 plus theta 2. Similar to the previous equation, except you need to replace cos by sine. Again, substitute the value of R2, R3, R4. You know omega 2, omega 3, omega 4. Just make a correction that it has to become 4. Because this is with respect to the 4. And you know alpha 2, it is a 0. If you don't know alpha 3 and alpha 4, just keep as it is. You'll get the simplification as 13.8803 alpha 3 minus 3.882 alpha 4 is equal to 10.0366. Now since you got this equation by comparing the imaginary part of equation 3, so I'll give the naming as third equation imaginary part. Okay. Now you got 3R, equation 3 with real part, you got this one, and you got 3I. Okay, so just simplify these two equations. There are two equations and there are two unknowns, alpha 3 and alpha 4. By using the calculator, use the equation mode, just input these values. Yeah, so these are the two equations which I got from third equation. By comparing the real part, I got this one. By comparing the imaginary part, I got this one. Using the calculator and by using the equation mode, substitute these values, we'll get the answer of this alpha 3 and alpha 4. Because there are two equations and two unknowns, so I can easily solve. Okay, I'll take another 10 minutes to complete this problem. So please mute your audio. So please mute your audio, anyone. So Prajwal, okay. Prajwal, please mute your audio. Yeah. Yeah. So after simplifying these two equations with the help of calculator, I got alpha 3 and alpha 4 as 0.7464 radian per second square and 0.0835 radian per second square. Since the answer of these two accelerations, angular acceleration is positive, it means the direction will be counterclockwise. Just go through the sign conventions. If the answer is positive, the direction will be counterclockwise direction. You can see it. Since the answer is positive, the direction is counterclockwise. Here also you got positive. The direction is counterclockwise. Okay. And after getting these things, so finally the conclusion part. Okay. So from the equation 2 you got omega 3 and omega 4, and from the equation 3, simplification of equation 3, you got alpha 3 and alpha 4. Since with respect to the third kinematic link, that is a kinematic element 3, I got the angular velocity in a clockwise direction and the angular acceleration in a counterclockwise direction. Since both are moving in opposite direction, I can say that the magnitude of angular velocity decreases because both are moving in opposite direction. As per the sign conventions, if both are in opposite direction, the angular velocity will be decreasing. So in the problem it is asked whether the angular velocity is increasing or decreasing with respect to the third kinematic link and the fourth kinematic link. So as I said, I got the value of omega 3 as a negative. So it means it is a clockwise, and the value of alpha 3 as a positive, it means it is a counterclockwise. When you compare both these two, both are in opposite direction. Hence, the angular velocity decreases. Just write down the conclusion. Okay, since the suffix 3 indicates kinematic link 3. In a similar manner, for kinematic link 4, omega 4 and alpha 4, they are in opposite direction. Omega 4 you got the answer in negative, it means clockwise. For alpha 4 you got the positive, it is a counterclockwise. Again same, it is they are both are moving in opposite direction. As per the sign conventions, if both angular velocity and angular acceleration are moving in opposite direction, so the angular velocity decreases. Okay, so this is the completion of this problem number 2. Okay, so this entire problem carries 20 marks. Okay, so please go through this notes. I have given each and every steps with exercise problems. So I solved how to write down the displacement of each vectors. Please go through these things and see the conventions. If it is a negative value, it will be counterclockwise. If it is a positive value, if it is a positive, it will be counterclockwise. If it is a negative, it will be clockwise. Only with respect to the angular velocity omega and angular acceleration alpha. And you should be able to write down the imaginary part and the real part of this one. Okay. But for that also I have taken some exercise problems. If you know this one, what is the real part, you should be able to write directly the real part and the imaginary part. I've taken one more exercise. Okay, let's go through that. If you're able to do these simple equations, simple basics, you can solve any problem. Suppose I have taken the 4-bar mechanism, right? So first I have noted down the given things, the link lengths, I give 1, 2, 3, 4, I have given the directions, that's the vectors. I got the angular displacement in a counterclockwise direction with respect to the positive real axis and the reference as this tail of the vector. For all the 4 vectors, I got these answers. So if you are not able to find out any angles, just take it as an unknown thing. In this case, R1, R2, R4 is given, R1, R2, R4 given, theta 1, theta 2, theta 4 is given. Only the unknown thing is with respect to the third kinematic link, R3 and theta 3. After this, I'll write the first part is you need to write down loop closure equation. As I said, the summation of all the displacement vector is 0. Okay, just take AB, BC, and CD as positive, AD as negative because it is against. Okay, you know how to write the displacement of each vector, that is r into e raised to I theta. Okay, you only change the suffix. If it is with respect to second vector, just write 2. If it is with respect to third vector, just 3. You got the answer. That is the first vector, that is the displacement vector. I can denote with the first equation. And when you differentiate this equation, you will get this one, that is the acceleration, that is the velocity vector. Okay, and by using the formula, by using this formula, when you differentiate this, you will get this one. Just remember this. Okay, only change the suffixes. Just write on this. Again, when you differentiate this one, you will get this acceleration. Just remember this, and can write directly the velocity of each equations. Okay, so you got the second equation. The similar manner, when you differentiate the velocity of the velocity vectors, you'll get the second equation. Sorry, you'll get the third equation. That is nothing but acceleration. Using the formula, I got this answer. Now I got 1, 2, 3 equations from the part 1. In the second part of the problem, first I'll consider the first equation. I'll compare the real part of LHS as well as RHS. I'll get this one. Okay, that is IR for the first equation with the real part, and I'll compare the imaginary part of the same equation. I'll get the comparison of LHS and RHS with respect to the imaginary part. Instead of cos, you need to replace sign. So you'll get this one. Okay. So after simplification, you got this one. That is II, the first equation with the imaginary part. After getting II and IR, just square and add the LHS and RHS. Means just do the simplifications. We get the value of R3. To find out theta 3, just take the ratio of both those IR and II. So you'll get theta 3. So now all the four parameters with respect to the length and with respect to the displacement are known. Okay, you got R3 as well as theta 3. So just follow the same procedure for second equation. Again, take the second equation, compare the real part, you'll get one equation, that is the second equation R. Again, take the same equation, compare the imaginary part of LHS and RHS. You'll get one more equation, that is second equation imaginary part. After getting these two equations, use the calculator. You know you have two unknowns and two equations. Go to the equation mode, substitute the values. So you'll get the unknown things, that is omega 3 and omega 4. Since both are in a negative, so it means they'll be rotating in clockwise direction. Okay. After getting these two equations, if you want, you can note down what are the parameters which are known and which are unknown. Okay. You got these R3 and theta 3 with respect to the first equation, and you got omega 3 and omega 4 after solving the second equation. Still, I need to find out the angular acceleration. I got angular velocity, but I need to find out angular acceleration also. So these two are unknown, so I'll go with the simplification of third equation. So this was the third equation, that is the acceleration vector. So again, compare the real part and the imaginary part of LHS and RHS. When you compare the real part, you'll get this one, that is the third equation real part. Again, when you compare the imaginary part of this equation 3, you'll get this one, that is equation 3 with the imaginary part. After getting these two equations, again same, use the calculator, go to the equation mode, just substitute the values, you'll get the answer, you'll get the unknown things, that is alpha 3 and alpha 4. Since both these values are positive, it means the direction will be counterclockwise. Finally, you need to say whether the angular velocity of kinematic link 3 and 4, whether it is increasing or decreasing. For that, you need to compare whether the angular velocity and acceleration of link 3 both are in the same direction or in the opposite direction. Since it is clockwise, it is counterclockwise, both are in the opposite direction, it means the angular velocity of omega 3 it will be decreasing. Angular velocity of kinematic link 3 will be decreasing. Again, it is the same for link 4 also. Both are in the opposite direction, it means the angular velocity is decreasing. If they are in the same direction, you can say that the angular velocity is increasing. Since for kinematic link 3 as well as link 4, the velocity as well as acceleration are in the opposite direction. So you can say that for link 3, the angular velocity is decreasing. For link 4 also, the angular velocity is decreasing. Yeah. So in the problem it is given. Okay. Determine the magnitude and directions of angular velocity and angular acceleration of link BC and C. This is BC is nothing but the third link. CD is the fourth link. So I got omega 3, alpha 3, omega 4, alpha 4. And also state whether the magnitude of angular velocity of these two links increasing or decreasing. So as I said, for link 3, both angular velocity and acceleration are moving in opposite direction. It means the angular velocity for link 3 is decreasing. Same for this link 4 also, because the angular velocity and acceleration of link 4 is also opposite. One is clockwise and more is counterclockwise. It means the angular velocity of fourth link is also decreasing. So finally, I got this conclusion. Okay. So if any doubts, please ask. Okay. Otherwise, I'll wind up today's class. Okay. Thank you for attending this class.